good to be back with you here on the show. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone enjoyed a happy Mother's Day. JD here, good to have you on board. As always, we appreciate when you take your time to spend it with us here on the program, where we like our flying a little turbulent, our women a little crazy, our politics a little messy. Marcella working the dials, Brad producing the program. Emails at the website, jerrydoyle.com. Poll question update for you today. Last year, a record 1,780 Americans renounced their citizenship. When leaving, many of them are hit with an exit tax, that being a tax on stock holdings you haven't yet sold. What do you say to that? 9% say, well, an exit tax makes sense. 34% say, please tell me this is a joke. And 56% say, why don't we have an entrance tax? Your answer there at the website. Text the server all you wish, or here at 800-876-4123 on the program, where intellectual anarchy is encouraged and nurtured for now. I put the answer. I like the way people responded to the answer on the poll question. You know, it's like we had that email from CJ in Tucson. Oh, speaking of Tucson, great event out there over the weekend. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. I think, 1,000, 1,200 people showed up, and Ryan McCred and the PD out there at 104.1 The Truth. Great event, great time. It was all around spectacular. So look forward to doing it again next year. But CJ is a listener in Tucson and a frequent emailer, and she always has lots of very short but insightful ways of looking at things with regard to the Buffett rule. And Warren Buffett, I almost said Jimmy Buffett. Warren Buffett, I'll have another margarita, thank you. Warren Buffett paying less in taxes than his secretary, and everyone talks about how we have to raise Warren Buffett's taxes. She said, well, why don't we just solve the problem by lowering the secretary's taxes? And sometimes the simplest answers seem to be not so simple for our esteemed members of Congress. But with regard to this exit tax, okay, I think in and of itself probably somewhat problematic, but justifiable under the guise of turning your back on the country and swearing allegiance to a foreign flag, and you're just doing it to avoid paying taxes. But if we can tax people to leave the United States of America, why don't we tax them to come here? Why don't we say, well, this is worth something, isn't it, to come here? What's the price of admission? What do people pay to go to the happiest places on earth, Disney World and Disneyland? It's like $100 a ticket, right? People pay $70, guys. Women, I think it's $30 or $35, to get into a pool party at the Hard Rock on Sundays called Rehab. And what do we charge people to come to the United States? It's free. Just come on down. I mean, you're entering the freedom and prosperity lottery when you come to the United States of America. Think about that. When you come here, oh, I know there's discrimination and people are shut out. They don't get a proper education, and they're kept in these places where they don't have equal employment opportunities and food and all that other kind of nonsense. But you're getting a shot at the American dream when you come here, and we don't charge admission. People go to nightclubs in Las Vegas, slip the guy in $100, $200. Hey, can I jump the line? Sure, you can jump the line. Now you can play the cover charge, and here's $15 for a Heineken. Yay! Oh, you want to sit down? That'll be $500. I mean, we spend money for concert tickets, theater tickets, vacations, airline tickets. We don't have a problem spending money when we find something of value. Some might say that seems to be a little bit excessive, but not if you think it's worth it. If you think paying $500 for a $50 bottle of booze for bottle service at a nightclub in Las Vegas or New York or Miami is worth it, or Chicago, wherever, is worth it, then pay it. You have to decide what that value is for yourself. And if you think that that's a good deal and you want to do it, so be it. But what about the notion of people that just get to come here for free and they're entered into the great American lottery? Anything and everything is possible, and we don't charge. But if you are here and you decide that you don't want to stay here, for whatever reason that might be, whether it's onerous regulation or whether it's congressmen and women deciding that it's cheaper for you to do business as a company overseas and writing laws that allow you to have $1 trillion of wealth overseas not being subjected to taxes here in the United States, congressmen and women say, whoa, they're swearing their allegiance to a foreign flag. They're turning their back on America. But whatever reason it is that you want to leave, even if it's just for personal greed, like it is with this co-founder of Facebook, Eduardo Sabarin. Now, he has given up his U.S. citizenship. And he's given it up right before the initial public offering of Facebook, which is supposed to hit this week's, somewhere at the high end of the pricing range, probably $35 a share, somewhere around there. And his stake in Facebook is rather substantial and good for him. He's looking at probably, I don't know, what's he going to get, $3.84 billion? Not bad. Not bad. And he said, you know what? $4 billion, 4% stake in the company, it's going public. I'm out of here. Now, he wasn't born here. He got his citizenship later in life. He's a Brazilian-born resident of Singapore. And people are saying, oh, can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy? So this guy decides that he's going to make an accounting move that's perfectly legal. And now they're saying, if you're leaving the United States, you have to pay an exit tax. One more time, they get you on the way out the door. It's like in New York City. The only way you can really beat the man is if you leave New York and never go back, if you're in your car. Because you can drive out the stinking Lincoln, or you can drive over to GWB, the George Washington Bridge, and never have to pay on the outbound part of your trip through the Lincoln or over to George Washington Bridge. So if you leave and never come back, New York City says, all right, fine. You got us. But leaving the United States, you got to pay a tax to leave the country. And this guy is being pilloried by people who are saying, can you believe what he's doing? With all this country's done for him, he's swearing his allegiance to a foreign country? But isn't it ironic that a Republican candidate for president, Michelle Bachmann, held dual citizenship while she was running for the presidency? Michelle Bachmann, not only being a U.S. but also a Swiss citizen, decided to renounce her citizenship a week or two ago. But people say, well, it's only because it was recently given to her, and in light of the fact that it was granted and bestowed upon her, she only did what was normal, natural, and the right thing to do was to renounce the citizenship to Switzerland, the tax havens that Mitt Romney likes to store his money in. But she was given the citizenship in 1978. So a congresswoman and a presidential candidate for the Republican Party also had citizenship in a foreign country. I don't hear people going after her on that one. They don't seem to have a problem with that. But they have a problem with Eduardo Severin, who, with he and his accountants deciding the best thing for him to do would be to move his citizenship somewhere else because of this little tax deal. Now think about this. Congress gets involved and says, even though they wrote the laws that allow people to park and corporations to park money overseas and not pay taxes here in the United States, they decided that they were going to get involved yet once again. So Congress gives us the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, known as FATCA. Now, FATCA is designed to prevent evasion of taxes by Americans who hold offshore accounts. So banks now have to comply yet once again with more regulations bestowed upon us by Congress. And Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Bank of Singapore, DBS Group Holdings, and a list of others are now turning away business because of the implications of compliance with these ramped up efforts by Congress to make sure people don't get around the tax paying provisions that they, the members of Congress themselves, wrote in the first place. That's what we have for supposed government and leadership. And the bad guy is Eduardo Severin. But the bad guys are never the guys and gals that give us the laws that cause people like Eduardo Severin, the co-founder of Facebook, to want to domicile himself somewhere else in an effort to keep more of his own money. Governor Jerry Brown, California, lunatic governor of California, in a state that is a third of all welfare recipients home to, which is taxed out the wazoo for everything and anything, comes out and gives us a little update and says, we're a little short here in California. We're a land full of financial Billy Barties. You know, in January when we told you we were about $9 billion short for the year, Well, the number's really $16 billion. Think about that. What percentage increase is that in 5 months? So what is California's response? Get fiscally responsible? No. Stop spending? No. Cut back on government programs, social programs? No. They want to tax more. And what are people doing in California? They're leaving California. They're going to other business-friendly, tax-friendly states like Nevada and Texas and Florida. They're going to Arizona. They're going to Utah. They're leaving California. I'm surprised California doesn't take a page out of the federal government playbook and hit them for one toll on the way out. An exit tax from the state of California, like an exit tax if you want to leave the good old U.S. of A.
The Jerry Doyle Show.
California, they want to give us a temporary raise in the state's sales tax. They want to increase the income tax, state income tax, on people earning $250,000 a year or more. And they say they're only going to be increases until such time as we have become more fiscally responsible. Does anybody believe that temporary means temporary? Speaking of words that mean, Bill Clinton gave us, it depends upon the definition of is. Now John Edwards in the courtroom today trying to give us what the definition of the is. American Airlines also redefining what the words mean. Lifetime pass for that airline doesn't mean lifetime anymore. Lifetime is just a channel that chicks like to watch. J.P. Morgan getting pilloried for the $2 billion loss. We've got student loans now being told burdensome, onerous, and in a certain way locking you into a job that you might have to take that actually pays you more money than the job you want to do, and the government says that's got to go. We've also got a Republican governor that wants to make sure that schools are not groin central station, no touching, no hugging, and in New Jersey, how about this? No texting while walking. Social jet lag and addiction being redefined by those who stand to make a lot of money off your addiction, my addiction, everyone's addiction. You went to bed not an addict. 20 million people woke up the next day as an addict. The government, the gift that keeps on giving. Lots to get to today on the program. Monday here, Jerry Doyle. Good to have you with us. The phone number, 800-876-4123. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
We're now facing a $16 billion hole, not the $9 billion we thought in January.
Wait! This is the Jerry Doyle Show.